also the students will get some opportunities to grab some internship opportunity. Like many students grabbed opportunities in companies like Oracle and Google and Microsoft also. So we'll be briefing you about that also. And so let me brief you about the process actually. Most of the companies come to the campus in August. Starting from August, for 2 or 3 months, the process continues. There are slots and spots which we'll be knowing after the fourth sem is over. The CCD will be briefing you about that. So that is not of a concern as of now. The most of the companies conduct tests and interviews. The people who clear the tests are allowed to give the interviews, and then they select the people. And few of the companies also select on the basis of the CVs of the students. There are various profiles. I guess more than 10 are there, and we have tried to cover all of them one by one. There are also research internship opportunities available to you. About that also, we will be briefing you. There are pre-internship offers and pre-placement offers. We'll be briefing you about that also. So the first profile would be software development, about which the software development part of the PIO part of software development. The companies which will be visiting in the fourth semester and other opportunities, that will be the talk will be delivered by Anjali Soni. So let me hand over to Anjali.
Thanks, Vinayak. So I'll just briefly tell you some of the on-campus second internships that we have in our campus. So firstly, you must have heard about Google Step Intern. So in India, matlab, like it's generally that only the girls.
Anjali, please share the picture also if you have.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's visible now. Okay.
is it not visible now?
Yeah, it's visible now. It's visible now.
Okay. So you must have heard about this Google Step Intern. In India, it's mostly like on campus, so the girls are recruited through that. But if you apply off campus, there is no restriction as such. You can apply for any of the Google campuses, like out of India. And there are multiple profiles available there, like hardware interns, IT interns, and all of that. So you can definitely check the page of the Google Careers portal and apply over there. And then there was this Samsung Parichay. It didn't come to our campus directly. It was like some form was floated in some other colleges, and people have applied there. One of the students was shortlisted to this program. That I'll tell out the name. He was like Saurabh Bernawal, I guess. And there was basically two tests conducted, and according to the test performance, like he was selected. And then again Oracle was there. Oracle will be coming to our campus in the next month or something, in the next to next month. And again a test will be conducted and the subsequent interviews. In our campus last year 20 students were shortlisted, but the thing is was like due to the COVID situation, it was the offer was revoked, but they did offer a pre-intern offer to the students who were selected. And then there was this MIT Media Labs. This was some research internship. And yes, now Samay will tell you about how to prepare for it and everything about the SD roles.
Guys, 1 second. If you have any questions, please wait for the speaker to stop delivering his talk, his or her talk, and then you can ask. Unmute yourself and ask. If you have any question, if you have a general question about the internship process, please wait for the entire talk to end, and then we'll answer all your queries. And if you are hesitant to ask directly, then you can type in the chat also. Okay, Samay, you can continue now.
Uh, Thanks, Vinay. So I am audible.
Yes.
Uh, in this, I will talk about how to prepare for the SD roles. So basically, most of the companies visit our campus in August. So about more than half of those companies are of SD role. So if you will follow these steps, which I am going to tell you about, then you can easily grab internship in one of those companies. So first of all, it comes under CPI. So there is a shortlisting process based on the CPI. So it is for 7 plus or 7.5 plus for CSE and MNC students, uh, and 7.5 plus or 8 plus for EC students. So we don't know whether you will be having online internship process or offline. So in offline, basically CPI cutoff is less, and in online it is somewhat a little more due to the online process. So what happened in our case is for Microsoft it was 8 plus. So it will be better if you will maintain your CPI uh, at a decent level. So you have a chance in fourth semester to boost up your CPI so that you will be able to sit in most of the companies. Then even after in some companies coding test is somewhat easier due to which they have to shortlist the students based on the CPI. So in Microsoft, the coding test was very easy. So most of the students have done all the three questions. So finally, they shortlisted the students based on 8.5 plus CPI. Uh, Hello, Vinay. The slide is not visible.
Yeah, a slide is not visible, I guess. Samay, please share the slide once again.
Yeah, it is visible now. So I will prefer all of you to have a decent CPI of at least 7 plus. Otherwise, you will be rejected in most of the companies. Uh, and it will be better if you maintain around 8. So then it comes the competitive programming part. It is the most important part, I guess, in the internship process. So first of all, after the CPI shortlisting, then you will be having a coding test. So in the coding test, there is much there are many students which will clear the coding test due to having much good competitive programming of them. So it will be better if you start devoting the time from today itself to the competitive programming more and more, because the main factor that comes for the students is to first to clear the coding test, and then if they are good at this competitive programming part, then they will be also be able to clear the interviews, because in the interviews mostly the interviewer ask regarding data structure and algorithms and competitive programming part. And uh, Vinay,
Yeah,
uh, yeah. Mainly the interviewer asked regarding the DSA part and competitive programming part, and there is very less part in the project section which they ask. And so it will be better if you know all the data structures, because the interviewer asks regarding any data structure and how to implement it. They can also ask you to implement some specific data structure, so you should have a strong foundation on that. Then it comes the project part. You should have at least two projects on which you can speak for about 10 minutes. So you can do a project from coding club, or from students web committee, or from some online source like Udemy, and put it under your resume. So in the project part, they mainly ask how you implemented that project, how what was your teamwork regarding in that project, and which are the course concepts which you applied in that project. Like in the web development you apply some database, so how, so they will ask you regarding that database, and will go sometimes they go deep into that. Um, yes, Ayush. So here comes a detailed description for the all the beginners which haven't started uh, competitive programming till now. They can start from hacker rank and try the problem solving or C++ module of that, which is I guess of around 30 days. So first you can try that, and even if you are not able to learn the concepts properly from the online resources like GFG or CP algorithms, then you can try for some online courses like coding ninjas or coding blocks. uh, I myself, I took the course from coding ninjas, which proved very beneficial for me. uh, in that they taught almost all the concepts related to the interviews, and you will be able to learn much more quickly from the online courses if you haven't done the that topics till now. So otherwise you can learn yourself from online resources, uh, but it will take you some time for that. Then after that you should switch to giving the contest on Code Forces, Code Chef, uh, and other websites, uh, which uh, which is very important for your coding test. Uh, so giving contest will give you a confidence and will improve your problem solving, and you will be able to solve the questions in the coding test if you are able to solve them on Code Forces or Code Chef contest. So also first when you will Vinayak slide.
Uh, the screen is not visible.
Who's sharing the screen? Somewhere you or Anjali?
No, no, Anjali, I think.
Anjali, please, could you please share it once again? It's not visible. Just wait for us for a minute.
Also, the chat box is disabled for members. Could you please enable it?
We're doing that. Just wait for a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, Samay, you can continue now.
Uh,
Sorry for
yeah,
the delay.
so I was talking about the contest. So when you will start giving the contest on these platforms like Code Forces or CodeShare, then you might face a problem of your rating that you are having a low rating and you are not able to go to a much higher level than your friends which have already started from previous semesters and have a good rating. So do not give a much focus on your rating. You should have a focus on the logic development because in the interviews your rating will only reflect about how good you are in this competitive programming, but you will have to prove yourself by having a good discussion with the interviewer and by telling the proper approaches to the interviewer. Then only you will be selected. He will not select you only on the basis of your rating. So then it comes uh, up solving discussions. So when you give contest on these platforms, then you should have a habit of solving the questions which you are not able to solve. Like you are able to solve two questions in Code Forces Division 2, then you should try to solve the C and D questions from yourself. That will give you a good, that will lead to a good development of yours in your problem solving and will open new techniques for you to solve the questions and by time you will be able to solve more questions and so it will be better if you will create CP related WhatsApp groups of your hostels or your department of your friends. By that it will help in that you can discuss with each other the various approaches for a given question which you might think that it can be a good solution. So it will also lead to more development of your skills in competitive programming. So then it comes the DSA part. Uh, so since you are having a process in August, uh, so till June or July you should uh, complete the programming and puzzle sections of the interview bit because most of the companies ask the interview questions and coding test questions from the interview bit itself, or those questions are just like that of these interview bit and are just a slide modification of that. So you should try to complete all the questions of the programming and puzzle sections till July or June. Then you can try to give switching to lead code contest since their questions are mostly DSA based. And if you will be able to solve these questions in the lead code contest, then you will be able to write the code in the interviews also, which the interview expects from you. So it will lead to a high chance of you to uh, clear that interview round. So You can also try to watch the videos and read the blogs for every module from GFG or from code forces for which you are having difficulties. Uh, Vinay, can you further uh, go to the next slide? So other topics are oops. First of all, the other topics which might be asked in your interview is oops. So for that you can refer to tutorials point or GFG, or in the coding ninjas there is a separate section of oops, but you would then have to buy the course for that, or you can ask from your some friend if they have taken that course, and you can study from there, since in that it is given in much detail, or you can try from these uh, from different websites, and for practice you can go for HackerRank, and this is a much important topic as it is asked in many companies like Microsoft uh, and Morgan Stanley, I think, and many more. So after that, in some companies, uh, aptitude part is also asked, like in Morgan Stanley, it was asked, and in, uh, and in some other also it is asked. So it will be better if you have a good grip on the aptitude part also. For that, you can practice from some online resources. Uh, Maybe can you talk about the core concepts?
Yeah, so basically, Samay has already told you before, like about the CPI and stuff. So, some of the important courses that are mainly part of the CSC curriculum and also partly of MNC curriculum, those courses are important as with respect to the SD field. So, basically, the first thing is database management system and operating system and networks and system design, and also some other core concepts like computer architecture and stuff. Some of these are actually asked in some companies, like partly, let's say system design questions come. So let's say, for example, you are asked to design some kind of streaming service. So basically, you have to know some idea of APIs and stuff, and also have some idea about how networks work. So, for people who do not have these courses in their curriculum, the best thing to do is GFG. So basically, GFG is your like it's your encyclopedia for everything that you'll need for the rest of the part apart from this. And also, you can ask your friends in CSE to give share the lecture slides and stuff. So basically, if you learn them, you'll have a better chances for getting into those companies which ask such kind of questions. Could you move on? Yeah. So finally, we will go to the last topic that's about open source organizations. Uh, so again, let me first of all, before we get into this, let me explain you something. So we all know what open source organizations are, right? The code is open source, and we have, like maintainers and contributors and members. Like we make contributions, and then maintainers accept it into that particular software. And in fact, many of the software that we use are open source. So basically, what happens is some companies or some organizations uh, take up these open source organizations and provide them, like they create a platform for to attract contributors, and through that platform provide some stipends and stuff, like let's say GSOC that is done by Google. So basically what it will do is it will have 100 companies, let's say 100 open source organizations, and it will take students, and then of course you know what GSOC is. So basically in the similar way, most of the other open source organizations work, let's say MLH or Linux Foundation. So the point here is that uh, like just like working in companies, you will work over here in teams, and the projects that you'll be working on are quite real life based. For example, I have been a part of MLH fellowship for the past 3 months over here after, I mean, this year. So basically, I'll tell you about my experience just a little bit. Apart from learning a lot of framework, because I was in the Explorer track and they have like 6 hackathons or 6 projects. So over there, you have to do like 6 different kinds of projects. So when I say different, it means not just WebD and AppD, which are two common terms, at least here. You'll work on things like game development. You'll work on things like DevOps and social good. There are a lot other stuff, a lot other different kinds of projects that you'll come across. Apart from that, you'll have a lot of GitHub usage. Like I have worked on a lot of projects before, and I thought I knew GitHub, but then when I got there, I just realized it was like an iceberg. You have a lot of GitHub that could be used, and you have things like wikis. You have things like different kinds of merging. That was quite a learning experience over there, and of course, there's stipends and stuff. That is kind of a motivation. And finally, the preparation needed for this is mostly your development skills. So, if you have worked on previous frameworks, like if you have previously worked on certain frameworks, let's say some frameworks that have related language, or on based on the same framework there are projects, so you'll be easily able to understand what code has been written and able to contribute. So basically this works mostly on that discussion, contribution, and then selection. Yeah, one more final thing is communication skills. Just the last thing that I like to emphasize on is like keep this not as something above an internship in a software company, because it's not that important. Like the thing that you have in open source organizations, it won't hold as much value as an internship in like a company. So do not put priority on this one over that. But if you have time, like let's say this year in the summer, or maybe some of the things that happen in winter or spring, you can always go for that. So that's all about open source organizations.
Enable the chat feature. Why is it so? Can anyone help me out? What is the exact problem? Who can bypass the lobby? Is my screen visible?
Yeah, the
Yes.
screen is visible actually.
Yeah,
No,
it's
the main option, there is nothing like disabling the chat. I didn't do that. Why is it not happen? Or we can do probably is I'll copy your one link and you can ask questions here, audience. I'm sharing this link with you. Please unmute yourself. Can you see this link?
Yeah, it's visible actually.
And is it possible for you all to just post your queries there? I think you can unmute yourself. If you have question, just raise your
Yeah,
hand and
someone has raised her hand, I think.
they can
Please
unmute
unmute
her.
yourself and ask someone.
Let me unmute him. Vinay, can you check why posting the question there?
Just a second. Wait.
Anjali, I'm not sure if people can see the chat. I mean, from their own screen.
Okay, just a second. I'll post in the original group that they had. And the
Yeah,
query question section
uh,
is working, so I think they'll be able to do that.
yeah.
Just
Do it there or put the smaller link here in the chat if you want to see them.
you give me a second, I'll do that. Just have a look at the chat conversation of the group, like sophomore intern group in the teams. The chat is working.
Okay, Anjali, let us continue with the other profiles while you look at this thing. Okay.
Okay.
So next will be next Ritvik and sorry Rahul and Vikram will be delivering the talk on MLAI and data science profiles. Handing over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible.
Great. So hi, I'm Rahul. I will be talking about data science and machine learning internships. So first of all, there has been a hike in demand for good data scientists recently, as you all guys know. So for internships, these are the companies like Microsoft, Badwani AI, Gartner, ZS Associate, Publicipient, and Hyperversion. Many more companies have come. But for placement, like more companies have been they have visited this campus for like this placement season. So yeah, there is a really high demand for this. Apart from that, I'm gonna tell you what the companies want from a job applicant. So basically, what they want is candidates who can explain things clearly, explain some complicated things clearly to some other people who don't understand such deep mathematical concepts. So that's the thing which they are looking for. Like you have to maybe look at some data and get the insights with the things which are necessary for improving the business and stuff. And you may have to extract the information which you need and tell it to other business professionals or make some good visualizations and stuff. And another part is of course like all like you guys already know the machine learning and deep learning part, even that is important. But it is equally important like visualization and other normal things, the business stuff, even that's equally important. So that's the reason why they want people who can explain things clearly, like communicate in an effective way. And of course, you have to be good at linear algebra, statistics, and probability so that you can get good insights from the data. Apart from that, yeah, coding skills are basic and they are necessary. Next slide. Hello. Yeah, great. So let's talk about the preparation, how I prepared. So yeah, talking about the CPI, yeah, initially like having a CPI above 8 is good enough, and like it's really like it's great. Having a CPI about 8 is great, and 8.5 plus is like more than sufficient. And you should minimum you should have a 7 plus CPI so that you get for interview. And the tests actually, there are two kinds of tests. Either they can conduct a hackathon or simple MCQ based test. Vajla will tell more on that. So I'm gonna tell about the preparation material first. So since okay, you may have seen YouTube videos and stuff, how to become machine learning engineer and stuff. like do some courses and stuff. Actually, you have to go more in depth with the math behind the stuff. Only then you can, beat the other guys who do the normal things. Then the company will hire you. So yeah, like to understand more math, the first course is the linear algebra by Gilbert Stein. You guys may have had a linear algebra course in your first year, but to be frank, I was not that good at linear algebra during my first year. I didn't know the importance of it, so I didn't study that well. So I studied again from Gilbert Strang, and there is another like fast. There's a Rachel Thomas, like who is one of the co-founder of Fast AI. Even she has a lecture series on linear algebra. Even that's great. You can do both of these things. And after that, I would recommend the Stat 110 course. It's basically probability and statistics. It's taught by one of the professor from Harvard. It's on YouTube, and there's also a problem set for that. You can do that to become more strong in the probability distributions and those kinds of stuff. And after that, there is a basic machine learning course that is CS229. That is from Andrew Ng. There is the regular course which you do in Coursera, the machine learning from Andrew Ng. This version is like a little bit more mathematical, and you have to do this like so that you can beat the competition. And for practice, to practice probability question, it is same as the one with the analyst role, because there are a lot of profiles with similar, there is a lot of overlap in the preparation material. Like you have to know probability, statistics, and coding and stuff. So yeah, like the material is almost same. Like even they have links. And apart from that, you have to know how, like you have to understand what is data, like how you can get insights from the data. That you can only gain you can gain more insights only by practice. First thing is you can start taking going with small competitions from Kaggle, or maybe even other hackathons like which are regularly conducted. Like there are many websites, Machine Hack, Analytics Vidya and stuff. So you can go get into those hackathons, or like Kaggle is also a great place. But getting into Kaggle initially, you have to have a lot of guts to fight there. So it is better to start small. And after that, like you can read the notebooks from Kaggle and read that there are many blogs we can read. I'm gonna tell you what are the topics you have to in the next slide. I told about the linear algebra, and apart from previous go back to previous slides. And linear algebra I told. Apart from that, there is a statistical inference course which is on Coursera. So for people in maths minor in fourth sem, you'll be having a course probability and statistics. In that there is this part like the inference and stuff. That's good enough. But there is also this course on Coursera which is statistical inference. Basically, it is basically statistics, but it's a little more depth. You can take a look at this course. This course actually helped me a lot in my interview. And apart from that, how much coding is required for data science? Coding is important. You have to know the basics really well. And till binary search tree and basic graph algorithms, I think, and hashing and stuff, that is sufficient. You don't have to do a lot of practice on code forces or stuff, but you have to know the data structures really well, so that like they will ask you to implement some basic stuffs like implementing stack using STL and stuff, binary search, how to implement that, those kinds of stuff, so that you can write your own code, write your own algorithm, whatever basically what they want is whatever you think you should know how to implement it in the code. That's it. And my interview experience, okay, like I had 3 rounds. All 3 were like technical plus HR, like they were mixed. And first round they asked me questions from linear algebra, probability, and statistics. And in next round they asked me we discussed on how to build a machine learning system, like different parts of it. Like mine was like blog recommendation system, and others were asked maybe some other topics. So basically I had to like how I would choose the features, and if there is some problem, what would I do, like those kinds of stuff. They ask questions in between a lot, so that they want to know what's there in my mind basically. So you have to effectively communicate what's going on in your head. Maybe you may go wrong once or twice, but you don't have to worry about it much. But you have to know stuff so that you can tell all your ideas. And basic coding questions, like one was like basic stack implementation using STL, other was like basic searching question. Like if you do interview bit, like initially, like uh, maybe first 4 topics, that's sufficient for this, for my interview. But in other companies a little more was asked, so you may have to do the almost like complete interview bit. Like in each bucket you may choose, there is something called buckets, an interview bit. Like in for one topic there may be 5 to 6 buckets, and each bucket consists of similar questions. So you may pick 1 or 2 questions from each bucket and you can do it. That's more than sufficient for this. Next slide. So this was like, I found this online actually, and this helped me a lot during my like final day preparations. So these are some list of topics which you have to know, like it's a must. So in the end moments you can just Google these and read blogs based on these topics. So you can Google Navy base and maybe go a little bit deep if possible. Now because I got this in last moment, but if I had time I would have gone in depth for each of this topic. So this is like the basic things which you have to know. So if you know these, like you can just read through this, and these are the topics that you have to know. That's it. And you have to know math behind this. And the math behind this will be covered in the Stat 110 and those courses. So that's more than sufficient. I guess now Vajla can continue and tell his share.
Yeah, sure. I hope I'm audible. आवाज आ रही है ना? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're audible, Vajra.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So Rahul has covered most of the things. I'll just skim through by my experience and how I have prepared. So first of all, it's a myth that you don't need coding for the data science companies. They do conduct a coding test, although it's not as hard as the software engineering profiles. But still, yes, they do conduct a coding test. So it would be better that you have a decent amount of understanding of data structures and algorithms. You don't have to go too deep. Having like basic understanding is sufficient till I guess graphs and basic TP and trees. And yeah, the most important part is uh, generally in machine learning, people just import stuff and like they do model.fit and model.predict. That is not recommended because that anyone can do. Having a fundamental solid understanding of what is going on behind the algorithms is very important. I mean, you don't have to go too deep into the mathematics and like understand everything. If you do, it's really good. But having a solid fundamental understanding is sufficient for like many companies. The preparation strategy is the Start 110 course recommended by Rahul D is like it is like a one stop, but it is kind of heavy. Like it goes deep into like it goes very deep into Markov chains and very deep and all. So if you find that heavy, there is a specialization on Coursera called Statistics with Python. It will teach you basic statistics. Also, it will teach you how to implement those with Python using some SciPy and some other libraries. So that specialization is like a lighter version of it. And yeah, and there is an interesting blog on mathematical expectation on CodeChef. That like it's just one-page blog, and that will give you everything which you need an expectation. And StatQuest is it's a really good YouTube channel, and it'll help you. So basically, before the interviews on analytics with us, there are 40 interview questions, like what questions you can expect in an interview. And if you just go through and skim through them once, it will be sufficient. Yeah, regarding projects, two good projects will be really nice. I mean, don't put projects like Titanic or like X-ray something. Your project should be such like they should have some real life application. Don't focus more on the complexity of your code or something, but focus more on what kind of problem you're trying to solve. Like your project should be problem driven and not data driven. Like if you found some extremely nice data set and you just show it as a project, then that is generally not recommended. But try to find a problem, and even if you are solving it by using a simple model, it is really good. But try to be problem driven. And yeah, company tests. Yeah, like in case of Wadhwani AI, where I got the initial test was maths and stats, probability and statistics, which were like basic probability from like geeks for geeks and normal statistical distributions, like the basic distributions. And they had, and like that was one part, and the second part had coding. The coding part has less weightage, and they're easier when compared to the previous tests which I've given. Like one was in Grady and one was DP. And in Vadwani, the second round was also technical round, and they hadn't gone deep into my CV. Like they asked me the unanswered questions from the previous test. And the third round of Vadwani was also technical. There was no HR round in Vadwani. All three rounds were technical, and the third technical round was basically mathematics, MA 102 level, like your senior algebra level. In my preparation, I did for the linear algebra part, I did our course only, like MA 102, the slides which were given, I just went through those, and that was sufficient for the linear algebra part. And for probability and statistics, I went through the specialization, and like I just practiced from Geeks for Geeks, and that was sufficient. Yeah, and yeah, most of the companies will conduct like coding test as well as the quant test, but few companies like GS Associates will have extremely long problem statements, like 8-hour tests, where they'll give you some data and they'll give you a problem statement, and you're expected to solve it by using machine learning and all, and they'll evaluate you on the basis of that. But that is like a separate case. If you're looking for an off-campus intern, then LinkedIn is the best place you can look for. There are a lot of groups on LinkedIn where you can join. Like my second year intern, I did it I did it in some company by LinkedIn only. So yeah, that's it. Go on next. If anyone has any question, they can ask in chat about it. Okay, now Hrithwik will go up on the quant profile.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, Ritvik, you're audible.
So quant profile, first of all, I'll just mention the companies that come in this profile. We have JPMC, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Axis Bank. These four companies mainly come for the quant profile in the first 2 or 3 slots. The main thing about these companies are they don't come only for the quant profile. JPMC also comes for SD, Goldman Sachs also, like depends on the track you are going in the interviews. Morgan Stanley the same way. But the why am I calling these companies for quant profile? Because like other than JPMC has a specific quantitative research profile for which they come, where I got the internship. But Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, these companies, they have a compulsory quant section in their tests. So like that is why means their analyst profile and quant profile and SD profile somehow coincide in their test, and then they decide what profiles to give when you start the internship. So what do the companies want? Like these are mainly investment banking companies. So there is a myth, or there is a established fact amongst people that because these are financial investment banking companies, they must require some kind of financial knowledge and stuff. But that is just a myth. They don't expect much financial knowledge from engineers. Like financial knowledge is required for them hiring from MBA people, but for engineers they don't expect that we would have any financial knowledge. But what they expect is that we should have some good communication skills with the interviewers. Like we have to have on the spot thinking. Even if we don't know the answer to a question that they're asking, they will analyze how you come up with the solutions after discussing with them. So the interviews are a big thing for them. Like more often than not, they will ask some questions for which they will know that we won't come at the solution right away because the questions are a little difficult, but they would guide you along every step of the way, and you need to learn how to analyze those hints they provide and come at the solution. So the solution approach is the main thing to them, not the solution itself. That is the main thing for these kind of interviews. The most basic prerequisite for quant profiles is that you must be good at probability and statistics. Like this is the cornerstone of all the tests, the interviews, and everything that they conduct. The probability and statistics needs to be very, very good for you guys. Another thing, coding skills are required, although not as much as pure SD companies like Google or Uber or companies like that. But there needs to be some sense of data structures and algorithms. The basics need to be properly done because sometimes they ask coding questions as well. Can you move to the next slide? Vinayak, Anjali, next slide. Okay, so the main four topics that we need to prepare for quant profile are, as I said, probability, statistics, the basics of data structures and algorithms like graphs and then trees and then arrays, linked list and those stuff. Basics, like we don't need to go to very in-depth learning, but the basics need to be very clear. And also a major part is puzzles. Like in two of my four interviews for JPMC, they asked puzzles, and because I had practiced them earlier from Geeks for Geeks interview bit and stuff like that, it was very easy for me. These are two myths that people have, and that's why they are hesitant at applying in companies like these. They think that machine learning and deep learning are very compulsory to this because analysis is there, data analysis is there, but that is not the case. Also, financial knowledge about stock markets and investment banking is not required. If you have them, that is an added advantage, and maybe in the course of the internship, you would be able to make a better impact on the people there. But for getting selected in a company, that is not a prerequisite. Absolutely not a prerequisite. Anybody can apply. There are various resources. This is the Bible for probability, as we feel. This 50 challenging problems in probability. This is a book which, like, if you start around 1 month before the internship process, I think you should be able to complete it. Most of the questions in the tests, at least, not in the interviews, but in the test, at least they come from these. Like in the JPMC test, around 50 to 60% of the questions that came are from this book. And because the questions in this book are very difficult, so you won't be able to like analyze during the course of the test itself. So it's very easy if you do them beforehand. It would be very easy during the test. There are also for GFG an interview bit for puzzles. This is another book, Hard on the Street Quantitative Questions. This book is very interesting as well. When you have the free time, you can go through the puzzles on these. And I have also included a link here. It will have this link always has all the resources that are required. So main thing I would say for quant profile interns is that you need to be good at maths, and you need to be good at on the spot thinking. Like even if you don't know the solution to a particular maths question or the statistics, you don't know the topic, straight away tell the interviewer that I don't know this, but I might, if I am provided some help, I can come up with the solution. And then you can take their help and uh, come at a solution approach in a guided way. That is the main thing. The communication skill, communication with the interviewer is very, very essential. In one of my interviews for JPMC, like three people took my interview at the same time, and for a couple of the questions I had no idea like I had to do. I had no idea, but then they understood that and helped me get at the solution, and then they were happy with it, that I arrived at the solution in a guided approach. So that is it for me. I'll hand over to Adit for the analyst profile. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll tell about the test and interview once. Uh, in the test, in all the company tests that companies I have mentioned, there are mainly 2 to 3 sections, and maths and quant section are compulsory in all these tests. So difference between maths and quant section is that in quant it will have basic questions that we used to do in class 9, 10, 11, 12, but that because of the time constraint we need to do them fast. And in maths, it has a specific probability, then linear algebra questions. For that, we need to revise the topics that we were taught in first year. And for probability, CS and MNC people will have that course in second year as well. There will also be a coding section, which will not be as difficult as other coding profiles, as I've told before, but it will be but in means although not much weightage is given to the coding section, but if you do them well, like in JPMC they give two questions, coding questions, and if you solved both of them, only then would you get selected, because that was the like difference for people. And in some companies like in Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, they also ask basics of computer science like operating system and a little bit of database management as well. About the interview, I've already told this. If you don't know something, like be upfront with the interviewers instead of like procrastinating with them. Like if you don't know something, just be upfront about it. They will like that confidence, and they will know that you are able to communicate with them, because in these kind of profiles, communication is the most important key. And a last point is very important. Like for JPMC, quantitative research was a new thing for me. So I learned about the company well in advance and the role I am applying for. So that will also help in your interviews if you are very well versed with the role that you are going for, like what is quantitative research, or if for Goldman Sachs, what is the job of a summer analyst. So if you talk to the seniors beforehand, it would be a big plus in your interviews. That is it for me. I'll hand over to Adit.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Adit, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Hey, my name is Adit, and I got shortlisted for the Goldman Sachs internship in 2021. And okay, let me be very honest and upfront. I didn't really prepare for the internship season or the coding part of it, but I was fortunate enough to attend the DSA course in our CS minor. So to anyone who is looking forward to actually applying, I think the concepts of DSA and mostly graphs are very important. I think most of the coding tests had graph questions in them. So there's this MIT course 6.006, Introduction to Algorithms, which is a really great course, and I think everyone should attempt. Other than that, I think most of the companies that come are mostly restricted to CS, MNC, and people who are CS minor. But fortunately, Goldman Sachs had this. I did not have actually a branch restriction, and so everyone who is in the meeting who does not belong to the circuital branches can actually apply to these companies. And make sure that you do prepare for the coding tests, because there are a lot of companies that do come in the later part of the internship process. So if you are looking for SDE role, and then also as Ritvik probably mentioned, that you have to prepare for probability. So if you don't have a probability course in your course structure, MNC, CS, and ECEEE guys do have a probability and random processes courses. But if you don't have, then at least try to cover up the basics and see the course structure of the people who have the course, and try to cover up the concepts. It's not a difficult topic to cover, but I think you can find many courses online for the same. That is, I think, the knowledge part of it. The book that Ritik mentioned has a lot of questions that are asked in tests and interview. 50 challenging problems in probability. So if you have time, do go through that as well. I think the most useful advice that I can give you is, if you are selected in interviews, which is a very good probability, because I think for Goldman Sachs, almost 60 to 70 people were shortlisted. So if you are selected, then make sure that you give your best in the interview, meaning that you actually try to be very interactive with the interviewer. Do not give up if you don't know the problem. There will be, for the 3 problems that were given to me, I did not know the answer to 2 of them, but I did, as Ritvik already mentioned, that I did actually try to attempt them and try to go through with them, and I reached a solution. And if I reach the wrong answer, they tell you that this is the wrong answer. Can you think why? And then, I mean, you really have to think and also think out loud. I mean, tell what you are thinking and communicate with the interviewer. Show them that you are ready to learn and that you are ready to, I mean, improve on what you already know. So I think that really is a plus. About the coding test, I think the Goldman Sachs coding test was easy as such, but since it was easy, the only problem was that it was easy for everyone. So I mean, you really have to get, I think, 60 to 70% of the questions right. Then your CV does matter. Although I was not asked any HR questions, I'm sure the shortlisting process involved CV as well. So I mean, just go on the advice that everyone has, that do explore and do projects in different areas. Uh, uh, and then I think yeah, I'll just share my interview experience. So I had 2 interviews, and since I was from a non-CS MNC branch, that meant that I was not asked any coding questions in the GS interviews. I was only asked puzzles and I mean probability questions. They were difficult, but I was not asked any coding questions. So, and most of them were I mean, most of them were solved with the help of the interviewer itself. So yeah, I think that sums it up. But yeah, so I will end this on the note that don't I mean, don't just do anything that you are doing, say coding or competitive coding, just for the sake of it. If you really enjoy it and you are into the process, I think you will easily get into a good company and and get a good internship. So yeah, I think that is all from my side. Let me just see if there are any questions. Okay, so I don't see any questions. I will check it once more after my presentation. Uh, okay then. So on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Ardit. Next, we'll be moving to hardware core profile, which will be delivered by Kirti and Srikhar. Over to you, Kirti.
Yeah, like, am I audible, Vinayak?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, fine. Hello, guys. I'm Kirti Vasan. Like, I'm an EC. I'm an ECE. I got intern hardware intern in Qualcomm. So basically, it is a digital profile. It is brand specific one. Mostly they select ECE triple people only. Like even CSC could apply, but mostly CSC people won't be interested in this thing. So it's usually ECE triple people go opting for this. So yeah, for digital this computer science ECE triple people would have studied, they have this course called digital circuits in their curriculum. So that course covers almost all the prerequisites for this intern. So here I have mentioned few topics. Like it's if you have a strong grip over these topics, this is more than enough for the intern. Like here I have mentioned about muxes, decoders, flip-flops. Yeah, so these are all the syllabus for the digital circuits, along with Verilog. Like usually, like Verilog was not there till before years. Like right now they have included for EC I don't know whether it is there for computer science students, I don't know. But anyways, I'll be more specific towards ECE people. And moreover, here we also need like if you take in Qualcomm, it was not only like they were asking about digital, it was about aptitude, coding, and digital. So it is better to have some basic coding skills also. So as people were saying before, if you do interview bit till if you are strong with the basic concepts like data types, pointers, data structures, then yeah, that will do good here. And I have mentioned few like reference materials and lecture videos here. Like first, I would like to say that digital design is like Bible for you for this thing. Like if you want to prepare for hardware intern, so digital design by Morris Mano, you have to be able to cover till like till 8 chapters. Like the first 8 chapters you should be able to cover, and it would be better if you even solve the problems which was given in the book. It is like completely useful. Like once if you solve the problems, if you take like Texas also comes for digital internship, like digital profile, there the questions are like you have to attend 20 questions in around 40 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm not sure with the timing. So So if you practice those questions, it will be really helpful for solving the questions fast, because there the time matters. So it was like after I practiced those questions, this thing test was like way too easier for me. Like the digital questions were so easy. And so yeah, that's why in by after studying digital design, those 8 chapters, you will be concept thorough with the first three topics which I have mentioned here: muxes, decoders, flip-flops, and finite state machines. Then I would suggest you to go to this course which I have mentioned here. It is digital circuits course by MIT. This course you could especially refer for static timing analysis. Yeah, this is the course which was not much stressed in our curriculum, but the companies are really really giving value to it. Like this is most important topic which you need to study. In the interview, in my Texas interview, they were like completely asking focusing only on this topic, static timing analysis. Even on the test, they were they were like around 5 to 6 questions in a paper of 20 questions. We had 5 to 6 questions on this topic. So this topic, static timing analysis, is very important for you guys to cover. So maybe after this presentation was over, like we'll be sharing the slides. Along with that, I'll send the PDF also, like few practice problems for static timing analysis. If you refer that, you'll be like confident with the topic. That will do good. And yeah, so next, digital design and computer architecture. This book you could have it for reference for CMOS circuits. Like I guess that you would have studied about CMOS and semiconductor devices, but more than that, it would there are more. You will study it in this semester also, like in analog circuits also. There is digital aspect for CMOS, like constructing of gates using CMOS, constructing of circuits. I guess you guys would have covered in the digital circuits course. Yeah, so that is also that was also an important topic, and it was asked during the test, Qualcomm test. So yeah, you could refer Harris and Harris for CMOS circuits. And Verilog coding. Usually they don't ask Verilog coding in an interview test or interview or test, but Verilog coding actually helps you in getting your CV prepared. Like for in case of hardware intern, you can't have projects that much because you are just in a second year, right? And dealing with hardware stuff directly, it's like not possible. So Verilog will help you in getting few projects on your resume. So it would be nice if it would actually give you an edge over others if you have Verilog skills, like better Verilog skills. And for that, I would recommend this NPTEL course by Intern and Sengupta. Yeah, it was like if you finish that course, at the end there would be a he would be having he himself would teach how to construct a processor using Verilog. Yeah, so that was like really helpful in giving me great aspect towards digital circuits. So I would like, even if you're not able to complete the initial videos, at least see the last 10 videos. That would be really helpful for you guys. And then at last, yeah, coding and puzzle skills are like important for interviews. And coding skill is important, like, and test also. Like usually they have aptitude, and Qualcomm had this coding like in the Qualcomm had 3 sections in their paper. One was aptitude, another was coding, and another was this thing. And another was optional. You could choose either coding or digital or communication. So for digital, you have prepared this much. So for the second section, coding, you need to have some basic skills. And as I said before, you don't need to practice that much. It's better if you just have a idea. It's not, they won't ask you to type or code anything at that moment. They'll just ask you for if there is any error, or if there is like debug or like it's just about MCQs at that time. So it's better if you just understand the concepts instead of like more focusing on practicing it. So that's what about it. And puzzles, it's more like a company specific. What happened was, this was one of my experience during before the day of Qualcomm interview. I got to know that they used to ask puzzles also. So I was just going through like what are the questions. Puzzles usually are not exactly puzzles, like questions asked in Qualcomm. I came across this puzzle question in GFG, and the same question was asked to me in the next day. So it was like cakewalk for me. And yeah, so that's what. So I have some ideas on puzzles also, and that's it. And the additional topics which I have given here, it would help you like to understand the basic concepts more. So that's why, like, if you're able to cover algorithmic state machines and like their very low implementations, you will definitely have grip over the basics and computer architecture basics. This I specifically entered because NVIDIA also comes for NVIDIA also comes for hardware intern, and for NVIDIA they were like focusing more on computer architecture and coding skills also. So I would prefer, it would be better if you guys were able to prepare for computer architecture. And one more thing, before all this, CPA is like must. You should try to have a CPA. Try to have, like, NVIDIA had a cutoff of 8.5 this year, and usually since it is online sim, there are chances that in your year they may go beyond 9 also. Like they could keep 9 as their cutoff also. So try to have a high CPA. And still, even though Texas had 7+, Texas and Qualcomm had 7+, it took people with 8+ only. So I would suggest you to have at least an 8+ CPA. That's it. Thank you guys. I'm passing it over to Stricker. He's doing analog profile. Yeah. Any questions? Just put in the chat section. Okay,
yeah,
fine. Any questions you have? Okay, fine. I'll finish it. Any questions you have, you could either ping me or like put it in the chat section, anything. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Srika, just a second. I'd request everyone. I see some people leaving the meeting. After this, we'll be having a talk on design profile, and after that, we'll be having a talk on research internships. So if you'd like to listen to all of those, you could stay back. Otherwise, it's up to you. Thank you. Over to you, Srika. Srika, are you here?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. You can continue.
Some issue with my headphone mic. So thank you, Kirti. That was really constructive. So this is hello all. This is Surya Shrikar. I am pursuing my pre-final year in Triple E. So I'm here to talk about analog engineer profile. So I'm pretty sure many of you here don't even know what analog is, and so I'll just give you a brief idea of what analog is. Analog is basically not the semiconductor courses that you just studied, that is device physics. Analog signals are those signals which are continuous time and continuous value, that is your physical signals. And the circuits that do the signal processing of these signals are called analog circuits. So fine, yeah, big deal. So the entire world is going digital, so why do we even care about analog? If that's what you think, then this is my answer to you. The world we live is in analog. We are analog, and the inputs that we perceive are also analog. Of course, I do accept that the computers we are using are digital, and such a representation of quantized levels leads to efficient processing and long-term storage of signals and information. But the information itself comes from the physical world, and we need to move back into the physical world for us to perceive them. So no matter how digital our electronic devices get, they always require interfaces that translate signals from physical world into digital world of electronics. So that's where analog circuitry comes into picture. So even when computers talk to other computers, analog interfaces are required. So here's an interesting fact. There is more analog in a digital handset than in an analog one. So you can clearly see how important analog is. Even your smartphones, they also have lots of analog functions, like interface of your multi-megapixel camera processor, or the audio video playback, the digital to analog converters, the amplifiers, the motion sensors, the battery management, which will maximize the battery life. So all these new features always require analog components to sustain them. So so it is like most companies, they actually believe that it takes a decade or more of experience to create strong analog expertise. So that's the reason analog engineers are really valued, highly valued for variety of tasks. So analog and mixed signal design is like, you can say, one of my seniors once told me, I don't know, even I didn't believe it myself, but the value of a good analog engineer is equivalent to that of a doctor, a medical doctor, I say. So you can understand the importance. So and with analog becoming increasingly important as an interface to the digital world, these engineers are increasingly in short supply. So that is really a sad thing. And this, it's also that the more designs, the more the designs go in digital, the more features you require in digital, the more the analog performance is required. The design talent has it has to, we need greater analog functionality, better functionality to if you want more digital features. So finally, I would like to say that the one of the most sustained demands for electrical engineers is in analog and mixed signal design. So fine, you might all think I'm just talking too much. So if we talk about business, then there is just one company which hires people in analog engineer profile, which is Texas Instruments. So I'll just I'll just explain their procedure. Their CPI cutoff is 7 plus. Students of EC Triple and EC minor can apply to this. And first they conduct a test, which is of 2 hours duration, and 45 minutes of digital, 45 minutes of analog questions, and 30 minutes of aptitude. The aptitude part is very, very easy. All of you can, I'm pretty sure you can answer almost all the questions. And digital part was anyways explained by Kirti. So in the analog part, I would say, first of all, none of you have even taken the course of analog circuits and control systems, which you are supposed to study in your 4th semester academics. So for the analog part, I would say the best preparation tip would be to first concentrate on your 4th sem academics and, be just chill about it. And for more enthusiastic people, you can actually go back to your 101 basics, the circuit analysis, the network theorems, the Thevenin's, Norton's theorems, the superposition principle, and everything of all that stuff. Basically, your 12th class basics of electrical networks. And the most important topic, I would say, for the interview or the test would be RLC circuits, basically RL, RC, or those type of circuits. Those were like, even in the test and the interview, they concentrated mainly on these topics. I know it is really surprising. It is a 12th standard concept, but that's what they are testing people on. So if you are very thorough with the 12th standard basics of RLC circuits, then you can say you're almost selected. And apart from that, in the test, what I observed was there were lots of diode circuits. And I mean, every usual circuit, they added a diode here or there somewhere. They just put a like the usual circuits, whatever, they're putting a diode in between and asking you to analyze it. So that's about diode circuits. So please be thorough with diode circuits as well, and basic op-amp circuits you might have already studied in your 101. But of course, there are other topics which you will be studying in your 4th sem, which I have not included here because it's pointless. In your 4th sem, please concentrate on the analog circuits and control systems course. They will be very important in the interview, especially. They will ask really good questions from control systems and transistors, etc. So here I have shown an NPTEL course by IIT Madras. So this is just the basic electrical circuits course, which will actually cover the basics which are just mentioned above. These are RL circuits, etc., op-amp circuits. So it will just cover the basics, and it's really good actually. So for people who are interested in interested in refreshing their basics, you can go through this. And for problems, you can refer to this textbook, Engineering Circuit Analysis. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this textbook by Haight and Kimmerly. So I hope there will be another intern talk where I can speak like after your 4th sem. That would be even more better than right now. So as of now, you can just concentrate on your 4th sem academics and probably explore other areas, not just be rigid about what you want to do. There's a lot of time to explore. So just experience everything, and then we can so That's it, I guess. If you have any doubts, you can directly contact me or the Sepstrom guys. So thank you.
Thank you, Srikar. Next on, we'll be moving to research internship profile. Handing over to you, Karthike.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, so hello guys, I'm Karthike. I'm a third year triple E undergrad, and I did my third year research intern at IIT Hyderabad, and my third year research intern is in University of Toronto through the MyTex program. So first of all, like people are very reluctant to go into research, and they like do not prefer going into research interns. So first, let's look at like what are the major benefits which are involved in doing a research intern. So first of all, like research intern gives you a chance to explore your interests, because during the first 2 years of your college life, that is basically the period you have to go into different fields and like test the field that you are most interested in. So it might be that software engineering is like not a field that you might be interested in. So you can actually try to go for a research intern. Secondly, if you ever plan to go for a master's or a PhD in the future, these research interns would be like a very good point in your application. So it's useful for that also. And thirdly, like it's a kind of perk which is like associated with research intern. Like if you get a foreign research intern, you could have the chance to like travel to a different country also. So okay, the next slide. Yeah, so basically we would be talking in like two different things. The first one would be focused on second year research intern, and the later part of the presentation would be on third year research intern. So the basic preparation that you need to have for a second year research intern, which you would be doing after your fourth semester in your summer vacations, are like these. You have to have like a decent CPI. 8 plus is okay, and 8.5 plus is good, and 9 plus is excellent. So like try to maintain a good CPI. At least 8 plus CPI is like needed. And as for projects, like whichever field you are like you want to go into, like suppose for core electronics, or you want to go into your like biotechnology or civil, whichever field that you are like trying to get into research, you have to like have some project into this, and preferably under a professor. For second year, this is not a very like required thing to have a project under a professor, but for third year intern, it is a kind of a must. So you have to have some like a good project which you can like discuss like during your like interview, or you can like highlight into your mail that you would be writing to professors asking for a research intern. I specifically did in the field of machine learning, so I'm like going to be talking a bit focused on that side. So like the resources that are relevant to a research intern in machine learning are like listed over here. The basic Andrew Ng machine learning introduction course, like it is the bare minimum course, and then there is a deep learning specialization course on Coursera. So these are like more theoretical course. They like don't go into the depth of mathematics of machine learning. So you can like do these courses for like a brief idea about the various like algorithms that are involved in deep learning. Also, if you want to go into a bit more mathematics, so you can like do these three courses of Stanford, which are available on YouTube. CS229, CS231 for computer vision, and CS224 for NLP. Apart from this, there is a book by Ian Goodfellow by the name of Deep Learning, and this is like a very good book, and it is structured in a very like good way. So but the thing is that if you like are comfortable with linear algebra and mathematics, then only you have to follow this book. Otherwise the courses listed above are like sufficient. And the fourth one point is that you have to have like the CV should be in a good template, preferably limited to a single page CV if you haven't done like many projects or you don't like have many achievements. So limit it to a one page CV, because at the end like nobody goes into reading each and every line. They just skim through your CV. So it is better to have a one page CV, and that too with like a modern template, rather than the template of ITG, like which is like not that modern. So try to make a CV, 2-column CV, or like something which is like a modern looking CV. So the process for a second year research intern, basically we have two major processes through which we can apply for a second year research intern. The first one is like we mail directly to the professors who are working in the domain that we are interested in. And secondly, we have some like programs, the dedicated programs through which we can apply. And ITG also has these MOUs, which are like memorandum of understanding with other universities of like other foreign universities. And those universities actually like prefer students from ITG to intern at their like labs. So I'll be talking about these two later. So next slide. So first we'll be talking about the direct mailings that we will do to professors. So the typical institutes that like people from my batch or our previous batches have gone to are like these. They are like listed over here. For domestic in like machine learning and deep learning part, people usually go to IIT Bombay, Delhi, Kanpur, Kharagpur. Triple IT Hyderabad is very good. IIT Hyderabad is like decent. Then Triple IIT is also good, and IIC Bangalore is also very good. So these are the institutes that people usually target. And for foreign intern through direct mailing, people from my batch, like they went to University of New South Wales and Monash University in Australia, and NUS and NTU, these are in like Singapore. And like these are a bit difficult. NUS and NTU are a bit difficult to get into, but UNSW and Monash University are like they do accept people from ITG. So you can so basically the process of applying, like how to find professors and like how to mail them is like in the websites that are listed here, just go on to their webpage and go on to like whichever department you are interested in, let's suppose computer science, and search for professors which are relevant to your field. Like who like for suppose like a professor is working in computer vision and machine learning, so you can like go to their webpage and you can like see which specific part of machine learning or computer vision he's working upon. Is his work like in like does his work interest you or not? And you can also go to the professor's Google Scholar. So basically Google Scholar is a website by Google where like they have a ranking kind of system for professors and like researchers. So there all of the papers that they have published would be mentioned on Google Scholar, and also their citations, like which is citations is basically how many times their paper has been referred to by other researchers. Those all things would be mentioned in Google Scholar. So for suppose like you want to search for a professor of IIT Bombay who's working in machine learning, so just type the name of that professor and just append it with Google Scholar and search for it. So you would get it at the very top only. So go through their publications on Google Scholar and like select one or two publications that seem interesting to you and kind of actually read through them, because like reading through their this publication has basically two advantages. First of all, like you get to have a sense of like how their work is, like does it really interest you or not. And secondly, you can actually write about this in your email that you would be sending to them, that I went through your research and I found this part to be very interesting and I would like to contribute to such problems. And I'm like, I also have worked upon this part which is quite relevant to this uh, paper that you have written. So go through their Google Scholar, see their citations, and read at least one paper. And same thing goes for foreign universities also. And next we will be discussing about some points regarding the email that you would be sending to professors. So the first and like the most important point is like do not send a generic email. Do not have a template which you would be sending to all of the professors, and just like by changing the name of the professor. Like you have to write, it is preferred that you write a different mail specific to a professor. Like they would, like it is very easy for them to guess that it is a like a generic mail or not. So for each professor, go through their research, their research paper, read through that, and like you can mention some of the points in your email. So that way the professor would know that you have actually read his research and like actually are interested in doing research intern with him. So the first, like the most important point is, do not write a generic email, do not have a template for an email. And secondly, do not send emails to professors who are not accepting interns. Like when you would search for professors relevant to your domain by going through websites of different universities, on their personal webpage, they would mention whether they are accepting interns or not. So if they are like specifically writing that we are not accepting second year interns at this moment, so do not send mails to them because they won't read it anyway. And so this you would see mostly in IT Delhi professors. They specifically write that they don't accept interns at a time. So just don't mail them because they won't read it. Thirdly, in the subject line of the email, do not mention words like internship or fellowship. Rather, use words like summer project or undergraduate research assistantship or like something of that sort. Do not directly write internship, because what happens is if you write this word internship or fellowship directly into the subject line, there are chances that your mail can be flagged as spam automatically, because professors usually receive a lot many emails regarding internship and all. So their spam filter is like it is modified such that it automatically rejects all those mails which are like starting with internship or fellowship. So do not mention these words like internship or fellowship in your subject line. Rather use these kind of like synonyms for those: summer project or summer undergraduate project, something like this. And the fourth point is that use your ITG email ID, which is preferred. So um, like if you don't have any like very big problem with doing like mailing from your ITG email, you should stick to your ITG email, because what happens this, like if you use Gmail or any other service, then that also has some chances of being flagged as spam, because they obtain a lot of like emails. So it is like there are chances that it will be flagged as spam. And again, in your email you would be attaching your CV and transcripts, which would be like the grade card for your previous semesters. So it is better to attach your CV and transcript as a link to some Google Drive PDF file rather than attaching them directly, because this also has some chances of being flagged as spam. So the preferred method is that you upload your CV and transcript to Google Drive, and you share the link of that document in your mail. Okay. Also, the next point is that while writing an email, like the first second email, you could get verified from a senior, because initially people don't write that much like compelling emails. So it is better to have it verified initially. And another important point is that do not expect replies. In fact, like you will receive typically 1 or 2 reply for every 15 to 20 emails that you write. Professors, like they don't usually read emails. So like you can like if a professor has not replied to you for a long time, then you can like write a mail asking for a reply, and a polite mail that I sent you an email before like on this date asking for a project. So if there is an like position available in your lab, kindly reply, something of that sort. Other than this, so you would be emailing to a lot of professors over the course of like 1 or 2 months, which would be like for domestic interns, this process like is in starts from February and goes till like March and all. So January, February, March, these are the like the best time to uh, send emails for a domestic intern. And as for a foreign intern, you have to send it even before, like you should have like send it by November also. But since the internship like this presentation got late, so you can send it in December also, because foreign professors have to like arrange for your visa and all. So it is better to send them as early as possible. So for foreign intern, like it is the best time to, like December and January are the best time to apply for a foreign intern, like mailings for a foreign intern. But for a domestic intern, you can do it as late as like April mid also. But preferred time is February and March. And so you would be like mailing a lot. So it is better that you make an Excel sheet and like maintain a list of all the professors that you have sent an email to, and also make a column like have you got a reply or not, something like that. So it would be like in a like orderly fashion, it would be arranged, and you would be like knowing uh, like how many professors have you applied to. And this is kind of optional. The next point, Grammarly, I think so you might have heard about it. It's a it's a piece of software like which helps you to write better. Like if your sentences are not that clear, it automatically corrects it. So it is always better to have like good language written in your emails. So ITG also has a subscription of Grammarly. I think so you all might be having it. So if you have Grammarly, use it. And the last point is that it is important that you send the email at a proper time. See, like for suppose for domestic intern, for the people like for the professors who are in India, you could mail them on like Monday night or like Tuesday night, so that they receive the email on Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. It is important because like on Monday morning they would have too many emails from like the past two holidays, Sunday and Saturday. So it is a like there is a chance that your email might get skipped. So it is better to send it on Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. Like these are the times that they would be free. And as for the foreign interns, you have to this same thing applies. You have to like send the email to Tuesday and Tuesday on or Wednesday morning. But again, you have to like keep in mind the time zone that they are in. You have to send it specific to their time zone. So you would have to like plan before like what time you should send the email so that they receive it at the correct time. Okay. uh, so a typical email for asking for a research intern would look something like this. In the first paragraph, you actually begin by introducing yourself, like what is a college, what is a branch, and also mention your CPI, like if you feel that it is decent enough. So mention your CPI, and if it is less, then don't mention it. And like what is the domain that you are interested in, and that you are interested in doing a summer research project under his guidance, something like that. And in the second paragraph, you actually brag about his work and his publications. So you begin by saying that I went through your website, or I went through your publications, and I read this paper, or I went through this project listed on your website and was very interested in this. And I mentioned something about his paper. As I was like saying before, that when you go through his publications and his paper, you would like find some things which you can mention in the email. So in the second paragraph, you basically brag about his work, that I liked your work in this domain, Anna. I like the way you did this thing by doing this thing, Anna. And also like mention some of your own projects also that you feel are relevant to his work, like which can form a connect between his work and your work. So also mention that into this. And in the third paragraph, you basically brag about your work. What have you done, like any courses or any important project under a professor, or if you have some recommendation from a professor, mention that in the third paragraph. Also, like you can uh, so basically in the third paragraph, you just brag about your own work. What have you done in the past? What knowledge do you have? And that's pretty much like about it for the third paragraph. And then after that, it is like the usual stuff that if you are given an opportunity, you will work very hard and like utmost dedication, you will try to publish a paper, something like that. And just provide the links of your resume and transcript somewhere in between these paragraphs, right? Like in this email, I have uh, supplied the link to my resume in the third paragraph and the transcript in the last line. So this is just a typical email that would look like for asking for an intern. So far that I have talked about was like about direct mailings to professors, which you would ask for research interns. These are like dedicated programs which are like organized by various institutes. So they have like a dedicated portal where you can like go and like write a statement of purpose, like enter your details and all, and you can apply through their portals. So for domestic intern, there are these portals. There are these programs which I mentioned on the left. ISRO and DRDO, basically there you have to like contact directly to the labs. There is no specific deadline for this program. You just apply to a lab rather than to a person. So you can just Google about ISRO and DRDO. And apart from that, you have this Spark program from IIT Roorkee. uh, the deadline for this program is usually, I think so, in the month of March, somewhere around that. And this SRIP is of IIT Gandhinagar. This is also around February or March only. Then this Fast SF is there for like students enlisted in the northeastern universities. But the deadline for this, I think so, like usually it is in December. I don't think so, like it has passed or what. You can search about this Fast SF. You can search, and yeah, there are these other three programs also: VSRP, then IIT Delhi program, and IIST. So basically, for knowing the deadlines and the process for each of these, you can just Google. That would be easily available. Uh, Apart from these, there are all like this is not an exhaustive list. There are all like other programs also which are like not listed here, so you can search for them on the internet. And so this was all for domestic. And for abroad interns, basically IIT Guwahati has an MOU which I talked about earlier, which is a memorandum of understanding with foreign universities. And basically there are two universities which IIT Guwahati has the MOU with. First one is Hanyang University in South Korea, and the second one is Chubu University in Japan. So basically the application for Hanyang University comes around in March, and the projects are majorly based in machine learning and deep learning. And so they basically prefer ITG students because IIT Guwahati has an MOU with them. There is a little disadvantage associated with this Hanyang program, because you actually have to pay for your accommodation and like travel. Like if you get a chance to go to South Korea, then you have to pay for your accommodation and travel. So you will have to bear some cost instead of being paid for the internship. Then the second one is Chubu University in Japan. I think so. You would have already gotten like a reminder for this program. The deadline is in December only. They usually select two people from ECEEE every year, and the projects are based in machine learning and deep learning only. So that's pretty much it about it. Next slide. So now we will be talking about third year research intern. The preparation is almost the same as I mentioned for the second year preparation. Here, the main difference is that for applying for a third year research intern, you at least have to have one research experience in whichever field you're applying, whether it be core or machine learning. So like one research experience means you must have either an internship or a very like good project under a professor. Here a project under a club or something would not suffice. So for a third year research intern, you need to have some like good research background. You have to show them that you are interested in research. And apart from this, many programs for the third year research intern, they ask for a statement of purpose, which is just like a 1 or 2 page document in which you highlight why do you want to go into research, what is a motive, and what have you worked about, and what have you worked upon in the past, and like what do you plan to work upon in the future. And yeah, LORs are basically letters of recommendation from professors that you have worked with, or the professors that like have supervised you in some project. So mostly programs would ask for one LOR, but there are some programs in third year, they even ask for 2 letter of recommendation also. So these letters of recommendations, they can also be asked in second year research intern also. Apart from this, the process, I guess someone is unmuted. So the process remains the same even here. Two major ways that you can apply for third year research intern. First is through mailings, and the second one is through programs. Vinayak, next slide. Yeah. So through mailing, all of the points mentioned before, like they are still applicable. Just that you have to be a bit more specific, like on what you want to work upon. Like it won't suffice if you just mention that you want to work in machine learning or in computer vision or in natural language processing. You have to be a bit more specific. Like in computer vision, what do you want to work upon in computer vision? Like machine perception is one subset of computer vision that you want to work upon. So you have to be a bit more specific, like in which domain you want to work upon under professors. Uh, and Also in the mail, you can include letters of recommendations if you have any. And there like in the last, I have mentioned some articles, some Medium articles. They like talk a bit more in detail about this mailing for third year research intern. And there is the second option is to go through research programs. So in third year, you actually have a lot of research programs that accept third year research interns from India. So like they are listed over here on the left. This MyTax is for Canada, then SNBOS is for US, but SNBOS only the top performers of the circuital branches are like considered for this. Like you would have the academic affairs would inform you that to select the top people from each and every circuital branch, and only those people are considered in this SNBOS. And CHARPAC is for France, then DARD is for Germany, then EPFL is in Switzerland. Is like they are all listed over here. One thing more for third year research intern is your CPI. CPI actually matters a lot if you want to go into research. So here an 8.5 plus CPI is good enough, and 9 plus is very good. Like these all programs that are listed here, they have like different requirements of CPI. Kind of like MyTax, the minimum CPI they accept is 8 plus, and SNBOS, usually the people who are accepted in SNBOS are like 9 and above. Charpak is 8.5 plus, and then DARD for Germany is very competitive, where people like have 9.5, that kind of range. And EPFL is also around 9. Then ETH Zurich is also 9. Then Internship in Australia, it is 8 plus. Then so basically it depends upon the program that you're applying to. You can search about it and like see the profiles of the people who are accepted into it. They would like mention their CPI and all. So you can go through the articles that you find online. You would like get a sense of how the CPI actually, the requirement for the CPI is here. So these are the resources. Like you can go through these articles and all. They list various ways of writing emails and various research programs that there are available for third year or second year. And so one last piece of advice that I want to give is that even if you want to go for even if you want to go into research and all, you cannot still ignore coding, because like coding would be helpful like in each and every like even in second year research interns, some institutes would like require you to have one coding test. So you cannot actually ignore coding. And also in your third year research intern, you have the option to give a preference between third year industrial intern and third year research intern. So even if you want to go into research, you can still have an like a backup industrial intern in your hand, and so for that you would definitely need to be good in coding. So whatever be the case, coding is a must. So yeah, that's it. Handing on to the next speaker.
Vidhi, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this might not be relevant to all of these people, so I'm just going to give an overview, not going into the details. Okay, so major fields in design, we have UI UX, product, and graphic, and major recruiters are listed here as well. Can you have the next slide? Mm. Okay, so step one for both second year internship and third year internship is that you have to build your portfolio. And I'm going to skip how to prepare for it because that's very specific. If you have any questions, you can just ping me or any other design senior. And there are like 3 types of projects, basically self-initiated, client-based, and some design challenges. And you put up your portfolio as either a website of your own or on portfolio websites like Behance. And sometimes you can just make a PPT or PDF file, which is not recommended. Usually people go for Behance. Can we have the next slide? Okay, so second year internships are not compulsory. Uh, People who have already started, they may sit for second year internships. It will give you an edge during your third year internships. Basically, for second year internships, you either apply to design studios. Some companies take design students in second year, and otherwise you can go for a professor. You can do an academic internship. Usually, you start applying in February, so to get like maximum positive responses. And also, as I said, it's not compulsory, so do not just do a second year internship for the sake of it. You should get a good project out of it, only then do it. And also, like, skip small startups where there are no mentors, because usually a lot of these companies are desperate for designers to do their work, but that is not beneficial for you. And even if during the internship you feel that you're not getting enough value, it's fine to leave it. Next slide, please. Okay, so while writing the mail, you have to stand out because they get a lot of mails. So basically, use your IT tag well. Be very specific what your skills are and what softwares you know. Highlight them. And even if like for second year portfolio, you might not have like 2 or 3 projects, which is generally recommended. It is fine to have lesser work. It's just like you should show like eagerness to learn, and studios are for that too. Can you have the next slide? Okay, so during in second year internships, you might get a task. Some studios which are very specific about the kind of designers they want to take, they have a task. Otherwise, there's just interview, which has major 3 components. First one being the general questions, your design philosophy, how did you end up here and stuff, and a portfolio walkthrough, basically where they'll, if the company is serious, they'll ask you questions about your portfolio. There'll be some people have brainstorming sessions about your projects based on your project itself, and they will ask you questions regarding what they do. Every company does a different kind of work, so they will have questions specific to that. Yeah. So in third year internships, CPI cutoff is like usually 7. So if you're below 7, you're gonna miss out on a lot. And common fields, to be very honest, majorly it's UI UX, and some companies for visual. Firstly, shortlisting is done based on portfolios, and then there are tasks of different companies. Based on the number of companies you get shortlisted for, you have to do multiple tasks, and there will be an overlap. There's a week's time in slot one, usually, and you have to do multiple tasks and you have to choose the company which you want to prioritize. And that, and also every company has a different need. They want a different kind of a designer, so you have to be sure to present yourself that way. Sometimes you just won't, it won't make sense, but usually you have to be like, you should cater to the needs of that company. And also it is very important to practice before the interviews. You can't just go in there. That's not how it works. You have to take mock interviews. You have to be very confident, because they're not just looking for skills, they're looking for a person that they want to hire, and it's very important for you to fit in there. And okay, basically some pointers about how you should go about it, and you should keep all these things in mind while you're building your portfolio, which is like the step one.
Thank you, Vidhi. As you know, like it's a bit late, so all the questions will be answered in a separate doc, and the Q&A's link that I had shared with you will be open, and you can post your queries anytime. That's it for this talk. We'll wrap it out here. Thank you.